Supply chain experts say there's room for growth. Clearly, President Biden has been talking about it since his campaign, bringing manufacturing jobs back to American soil. Listen.
I don't buy for 1 second that the vitality of American manufacturing is a thing of the past. As America can't sit on the sidelines in the race for the future. Our competitors aren't waiting. To ensure the future is made in America, we need to win not just the jobs of today, but the jobs and industries of tomorrow. It's a straightforward solution. Support and grow more American-based companies. Put more Americans to work in union jobs. Strengthen American manufacturing.
And some companies like GM, Samsung have already started investing billions in manufacturing in the United States, according to the New York Times. That translates into thousands of new American jobs. But there's plenty more work to do. James Crean joins us tonight. He's the president of, aptly named, Crean, a Texas-based company that helps businesses speed up manufacturing and delivery of their products. James, speaking of expediting the process, there's been so much talk of bringing factories back to American shores. Are they opening?
Absolutely. We've got a really big uptick in interest and companies that we're working with to bring manufacturing back to the United States. The initial work that was done in the prior administration in terms of tariffs and some of the other policy changes and regulation and whatnot definitely started people thinking. And the COVID pandemic and the supply chain issues associated with that has really put people a different footing in terms of what the risk and tolerance is for overseas manufacturing. And there's a number of other unrelated market factors as well that are pushing it.
What about unions? Because in the end, the sticker that says made in the USA is nice, but that really means American jobs. You want to think about people. And in the past, manufacturing was heavily unionized. High wages, great benefits, nice pension. Is that possible today?
You know, it depends on the industry. There's places for unions, clearly. You know, I really don't have a, particular view on, pro or, or
but like
con
the people you work
unions.
with, are they thinking, I'm going to set up this behemoth and I'm going to have to work with the steelworkers union or what have you, which in many times they say made them go broke, but the workers said, this was great.
Well, unions have to be continually looking at where do we go for the future, right? Because if the union isn't working with the management and you end up putting the business out of business, that's not doing anybody any good, particularly those union employees. The thing is that if the systems are set up right, like I said, the cost of labor is not the issue. Here's the thing. U.S. manufacturing is 8 times more productive than Chinese manufacturing. Okay, so Chinese labor is about 1/6 the cost of U.S. labor, but we're 8 times more productive. So we really should be producing more here. Economically, that's the right answer to do. And then you take all the rest of it, the risks, the long cycle times with logistics and everything else, and the answer is in so many cases, and so many cases where people would otherwise say, oh, well, of course, we're just going to do that in China. When you really look at the overall economics of it, it just doesn't make sense.
Let's get to the finish line then. If you say labor in China, it's 1/6 of the price, but U.S. output productivity is 8 times what it is in China, how can cities grease the wheels? I'm thinking Austin, Texas, for technology companies. Mm-hmm. They have gone gangbusters this last decade or two. How can we do that for manufacturing?
Ultimately, the economics almost always work out when you run through the math, if you really factor everything in. But certainly, there's a lot of competition between states and cities and localities to bring jobs in, and that competition means that there's opportunities for businesses and for tax relief and grants, training grants. We help companies, bring grant money to the table, economic development incentives, all these kinds of things to help to grease the wheels to bring business back. There's this ongoing feud between Texas and Florida, between Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, and who's the most business friendly state. And it's like, I honestly, I don't know what the answer is, but I love it because it's continuously creating a much, a more and more business friendly environment in both states.
Supply chain manufacturing expert. That's the business to be in these days. James Crean, thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.